Thank you for joining us today to talk about how to support your child's communication. My name is Aisha Johnson, and I will be co-presenting with Atia Merchant, and we are both speech-language pathologists at Surrey Place. Today, we are going to talk about a few different strategies or ways to support your child's communication development. So supporting things like their talking and their understanding. First, we'll briefly review what we talked about at our last session on communication milestones. And then we'll dive into our top strategies that can be used in your day-to-day routines with your children. We'll talk about getting face-to-face, copying your child, talking with your child, and the wait strategy. Then we'll do a quick summary at the end.
We will start by reviewing some of the key points that were mentioned in our last session. Firstly, good hearing is very important when it comes to understanding and speaking. If our children can't hear what is going on around them and what people are saying, it will be very difficult for them to copy and use sounds and words. If your child has a language delay and you suspect that there may be concerns about their hearing, speak to your family doctor or pediatrician about booking a hearing test. Babies need to hear lots and lots of language to make connections about things that are happening in their world and to feel ready to start using the sounds, words, and actions that they have learned. Playing with your children, talking to them about things that they are doing or seeing, and reading books with them are all ways that we can expose them to language in these early days. Finally, it is important to be aware of milestones or key skills that are expected at each stage, like 6 months, 12 months, etc. While every child is different and there is a wide range of what is considered normal, keeping track of milestones helps us to know when it may be a good time to seek a professional opinion regarding our child's communication development. The City of Toronto has made checklists available in a number of different languages so that you can monitor these milestones as your child develops. These are available on their website, which will be shared with you. Now that our recap is done, let's dive into our communication strategies.
I'd like you to think about things you do every day with your child. You feed them, put on their clothes, give them a bath or shower, maybe read a book or sing a song. In all of these moments, you are interacting and communicating with your child. And in those everyday moments, there are simple yet very helpful strategies you can use to develop your child's communication, so they're talking and they're understanding. You are your child's best teacher. You know your child best, and you're with your child a lot of the time. And there's that bond that a caregiver and child share. This brings us to our first strategy, getting face to face with your child. This means getting down to your child's physical level. So if they are sitting on a chair or a couch, you bend down or sit so that you are eye to eye with them. Or if they are sitting on the floor, you might lie down so that you are face to face with them. And if your child moves, then you will move so that you can stay face to face with them. In this picture, you can see the grandmother is sitting so that her face is at the same level as her granddaughter. Why is getting face-to-face important? Well, when you get face-to-face, you can see and hear each other more easily. You, as the caregiver, can get a lot of information from your child's body language and their facial expression. Like when they turn their head away to tell you that they don't like something, or when they open their eyes and mouth to show that they're surprised. When you can see and hear what your child is communicating more easily, it allows for a better back and forth interaction or moment with your child. Also, when you're face to face, your child can learn by watching your face when you talk. They will be able to see how you move your lips, your tongue, your jaw to create different sounds. And over time, they will try to copy what they see. Now we'll watch some video examples of a caregiver and a child communicating. You will have the chance to see and think about how getting face-to-face changes their communication with each other.
The next strategy that we will be talking about is copy your child. Even before our children begin to speak, they are doing things all day that show us what they are thinking or how they might be feeling. This includes making facial expressions such as smiling or frowning, doing actions like stretching their hands in the air or tapping toys together, and even making sounds like babbles such as da 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 and ah. If we pay attention, we can notice these early signs of communication and copy them back to our children. As you can see in the lower photo of this slide, the caregiver is sitting nicely down at her child's level, just like we spoke about in the previous strategy of face-to-face. She is copying her child as he bangs on the drum. Notice that she has her own drum, and this is helpful for a number of reasons. One, the child may not yet be ready to share his toys. And secondly, the caregiver can copy banging on the drum right after the child does it. The child may not yet be speaking, but he is clearly enjoying banging on the drum, and his caregiver is joining in the activity with him. The caregiver can add some language as she copies him banging on the drum, using a simple word or sound like bang or boom or even drum. Some other examples of copying your child can be pushing a car. If your child pushes a car, you can push a car too. If a child makes a face, such as in the photo above, you can copy that face. And if they make a sound like ah, you can say ah back. And even if they're just spinning around having a good time, you can spin around too. Don't be afraid to get a little bit silly, as long as it's safe. It is important to copy our children for a number of reasons. Firstly, it shows them that we are interested in what they are doing or saying. Secondly, it motivates or encourages them to interact with us and even copy us back. Babies start copying at a very young age. Even as young as a few weeks or a few months old, they can copy their parents' or caregivers' facial expressions. They first have to copy sounds, words, and actions before they can start using them on their own. So, we are helping to teach them this important skill of copying or imitation by us copying what they are doing.
The next strategy we'll talk about is the importance of talking to your child using lots of different types of words, sounds, and even actions. We want our children to hear lots of words and sentences about the world around them. So this means talking about what they're looking at, what they hear, what you're going to do tomorrow, what you did yesterday, and how you and they feel. This can be as simple as when you go to pick them up, you could say, I'm going to pick you up. And when you see them looking outside at a truck, you can point and say, that's a big truck. Or when they look sad, you could say, you're sad. We want to use different types of words, like action words. So words like jump and sleep, run and smile, eat, and also describing words like hot or soft, pretty or smelly. As your child is learning to talk, you can also use gestures, which are just actions like you see me doing today, along with your words. So like when you say it's time to wash your hands, you can do the action for washing your hands. Or when you say it's time to eat, do an action for eating. If your child isn't using words yet, it's a great idea to use fun sounds or sound effects, like boom if something falls on the ground or they're tapping on the table, or whee as they go down a slide or they push a car, or animal sounds. Fun sounds are typically easier for our children to start copying before they start to copy words. We know that our children learn from repetition. So using lots of words and sounds and actions over and over throughout your day will help your child learn them. Talking to your child a lot throughout your day and repeating words over and over helps your child understand new words. And when you say the same word many times, and bonus if you're also face-to-face, it will help them to learn how to say new words themselves. When you talk about something that they are looking at or doing, it shows them that you're interested in what they're interested in, which helps them to pay attention for longer and encourages them to communicate with you more. In this video example, you will see different caregivers talking to their child, using actions or gestures, and repeating words and sounds.
Now, we certainly want our children to hear lots of words and sentences about the world around them. But this next strategy teaches us to now let our children use what they've learned, whether it be a sound, a word, an action, or a sign. We allow them this turn to communicate by waiting. There are many ways that we can work waiting into our daily routines, and I'll mention a few of them here. One is by letting our children show us what they are interested in. Wait to see what they go towards in their play area or what they look at when they go outside. We can then comment about what they are playing with or what they are looking at and join in on their activity. Another time we can wait is by giving our children choices. For example, rather than just handing them a fruit, we can hold up two options, say an apple and a banana, and wait for the child to show us which one they want. Once they choose, we can give it to them and label or name their choice by saying, here's an apple, or you want a banana. We can also wait for our child to ask us for help or to show us that they want more of an item or an activity. For example, if we are blowing bubbles with our child, we can close the bottle after a few rounds of blowing bubbles and wait to give them the chance to hand you the container or tell you that they want you to blow more bubbles. Waiting can also happen when singing a song or using a phrase that our child is familiar with. For example, if our child really likes Old MacDonald, we can try singing, Old MacDonald had a... Wait. E-I-E-I. And wait for them to fill in the last word or do an action that they know. We can also use the same idea when using a phrase like 1, 2, 3, and wait for them to fill in go. You can also do something unexpected or silly, like putting both of your child's socks on the same foot, or giving our child a huge serving spoon rather than a regular spoon to eat dinner, and wait to see if they react. Finally, we all practice waiting for our turn when having a conversation as adults. We can do the same thing with our children as well, but may have to wait just a little bit longer for them to take a turn in the conversation. If your child does an action like pointing at something, or makes a few sounds, or even says a word to you, respond to them and then wait for them to take another turn. You will see a lovely example of this in an upcoming slide. Waiting is important when supporting our children to both understand and use language. Firstly, waiting gives our children the time to think about the information that we've given them or the situation that they are in. Waiting also helps our children to know that it is their turn to do something or say something in the interaction. And finally, waiting gives our children a natural chance to practice communicating and use the actions, sounds, and words that they have been hearing around them. You'll now see 2 examples of caregivers using the waiting strategy with their children. The first clip shows a father and his son having a conversation. You'll notice that the father will respond to what the son says and then looks at his son to show his son that it's now his turn to speak. The second example shows a mother and her child having a snack together. The mother only gives her son a few crackers, and once he's done, she waits for him to show her that he wants more. Even when he does ask for more, she only gives him one more so that he can have another opportunity to ask again.
Okay. They need to work on that, right? Yes, okay. Did you understand it though? No. Okay. All right. Huh? Oh, no, not this one. This is the grand finale of this. Yeah, that's the last one. That's what I was wondering. I don't know what they're gonna do next season because they did some stuff this time. Exactly what I was thinking.
Yum.
Mom,
More? Oh, more crackers, please. Absolutely. More hummus. All right. Here's a cracker. You want more crackers? That one too? More crackers. So we're
In summary, today we talked about getting face to face with your child, so getting down on your child's level, copying your child, so copying their facial expression, their actions, their sounds, talking to your child using lots of different types of words, actions, and sounds, and waiting to give your child a chance to take a turn. Thank you so much for joining Atia and I today. Feel free to ask any questions that you have.